Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is a scene for Living World of Darkness, Werewolf Edition. Today, our dear friend Dusk has finally made it to the Sept of Ptah. It is a dry, scorching 110 degrees, and the sun is bright in the in the sky. And he is sent before. Actually, Dusk, where are you going? You've just made it. And the Guardians have taken you. The Guardians have accepted you into the set as a visitor.
Okay. I think they told me they were going to take me to the Wormfoe.
Wormphone or the water.
Wormfoe the warder, yeah. So he's just walking along with them.
Okay. So after a while, they take you to this gentleman. You know what? They take you to this gentleman. He stands about solid 6 foot, piercing blue eyes, blonde hair, perception, primal urge.
Absolutely. Let's see. That. Okay. Wow.
You can smell the silver fang off this gentleman.
Okay. He will hit the dirt, roll over on his back, show his belly, show his neck, wait to be acknowledged.
It takes a minute as he looks you over, thumb in his mouth. An American. What exactly brings you here?
He'll continue laying on his back with his throat exposed, belly showing. I have been, Raya, I have been sent here to tell a story as part of my rite of passage.
What spirit are you petitioning?
Owl, Raya.
Shakes his head. Okay, that makes sense. My name is stands against the worm. Athos Silverfang of House Iceheart.
He will continue to lay on his back because he hasn't been told to move. I am known as Dusk Child, born on 2 legs, laughing moon of the Sept of the Green.
Laughing moon as well. Interesting. Please stand.
Yeah, he'll roll over on his stomach and then push himself to his feet and stand with his hands openly where he can see him, and obviously staring at his chest, not making any sort of a pretext to any type of contact with the eyes.
So, what have you come to tell?
I met with a member of Owl's brood that asked me, as part of my petition to Owl, to come here and tell the story of Ophelia Campbell.
He stops. As you can see, the math or the calculations and strong look of concentration on his face as it seems that he's going through scenarios. Osterhow? Of House Osterhow, correct? As he kind of peers his eyes at you.
And you can see he doesn't, there's not a whole lot of recognition because Dusk doesn't know anything about Silverfang houses.
Uh-huh.
And he just kind of shrugs. If you say so, Raya, I don't know enough about your tribe. I apologize.
Continue.
As part of my petition, I was asked to come and tell of a great battle that happened between the Sept of the Green and those who came to destroy Ophelia Campbell. Because I was there to witness it.
Plops down on the sand, takes out a pipe that smells strongly of some acrid type of herb, and continue.
He nods and he will take a moment. According to what I know, there was a time when there were those amongst Falcon's brood that thought the house of Ophelia Campbell was tainted by the worm. Those forces within Falcon's brood, with help from members of Fenrir's brood, came to destroy Ophelia Campbell. They came to the Sept of the Green, and they attempted at first through subtlety and assassination. Then they came with demands, and then they came with force. They started by sending a kinfolk to assassinate her with a rifle.
Sloppy.
This attempt failed.
Obviously. Sloppy. Very sloppy. Continue.
Then their leader, a crescent moon, came with a large group, presumably his pack, and made demands that the Sept hand one of our own over to them, basically on their word that she was worm-tainted simply because of her blood.
I heard the rumors.
She was deemed by the elders of the Sept not to be tainted. However, those of Falcon's brood and Fenrir's brood that came denied these claims and stated they would come back and take her by force. The elders of the Sept decided that the honor of the Sept was to defend Ophelia Campbell, as she was not worm-tainted. So when the allies of Falcon's brood and Fenrir's brood came to the battlefield, the Sept of the Green met them on the field of battle. It was an extraordinary battle, Raya.
Does she live?
You see him kind of lower his eyes. She survived the battle that day, Raya. She destroyed the crescent moon that called her family's honor into question. destroyed him in single combat on the field of battle. However, some months later, she fell on a mission fighting the worm, as was her purpose. She does not currently live, except in the hearts of the people of the Sept of the Great.
Takes a long puff. Exhales. It's quite the tale.
I apologize, I do not have the Galliard's tongue, but I did my best, Raya. I thank you for your kind words.
Thank you for coming all this way. Have you slept?
He smiles, thinks for a moment. Not in some time, Raya. I meditated for a while on the moon bridge, but I have not slept in, he thinks for a minute. It's been 4 days?
About that.
Yeah. I have not slept in 4 days.
You see a few kinfolk with the most appropriate term can be used would be sun-kissed skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell that what they are or what they could be,
Mm-hmm.
but they come and they sort of bow to you and they give you fresh fruit, gourds filled with water, and some meat. Kind of depart.
He'll take it all and gesture towards the Silver Fang. You have honor of first choice, Raya.
How long will you be staying?
Until Owl shows me what my next step is, Raya.
Well then, you can stay with the things for a second. There's a place for new arrivals and guests. You can stay there until that which time you leave. We ask that you stay away from any of the set politics that don't concern you, unless you do intend to stay. If you involve yourself in things that you don't understand, it is within your interest to ask. Does that make sense to you?
He nods. Yes, Raya. May I ask to pay my respect to the spirit of the Sept?
Thanks for a minute. You may pay your respects.
Thank you, Raya.
With that, he gets up from his spot and pipe in mouth and walks in a direction.
He's walking away, leaving me there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Once he leaves, Dusk is probably starving, so he will eat the food.
There's food and water. It's enough. There's like 3 baskets full. It's enough to keep you well stated.
Okay, all right. Once he gets done, he will clean up and then find a kinfolk to ask where the Cairn heart is. Um,
It doesn't take too long for you to come across a kinfolk who is more than happy to help you.
mhm.
She is, you know what? I have a picture. Give me a hot minute. I'm going to use. Yeah, right there, right there. Probably should have organized this better.
That's all right.
But you know what? This kinfolk is more than happy to help you. Um,
All right.
you can definitely smell the silent stride off him, and he kind of leads you. Um, there's quite a few guru here. You can there's one rather large lupus
Mhm.
who seems to be dozing
Okay.
on and off.
Okay. Obviously, as a cub, he's going to be spending a lot of time on his back for at
Hmm.
least a few, for at least for a little while, until he is, you know, at least introduced himself to all of them there and made sure that he's still allowed there, etc.
Uh-huh.
Once he's still allowed there, then he's going to step across into the Umbra.
Uh-huh.
He'll take his time, um, and then once across, he will look for the spirit of the sept and attempt to pay his respects.
This spirit, this presence falls upon you. You've seen spirits and you've come encounter with quite a few,
Mm-hmm.
being from your background
Mm-hmm.
and from your experience. But this one's a little different. You sort of feel it before you see it, as its presence seems to envelop you from the inside out. As it's almost as if you've entered into its territory and it notices you. What do you do?
He will do just as he does when he meets an elder Rue. He'll lay down on his stomach, or on his back, excuse me, and expose his stomach and his throat, um, and wait to be acknowledged.
It takes a while for you to understand that its thought patterns are not human, and it's and the sensations that you're getting are altogether, even for you, a little alien. And then you feel it from the inside out. What is it that you seek?
he'll reply in whatever manner he's spoken to, whether it's in his head or out loud.
It's kind of both at the same time.
Okay, well then he'll do both. I seek simply to pay my respects to the spirit of the sept as I am passing through on my way, rite of passage into becoming the Cleath of the nation.
Why? You owe me no fealty. Why are you here?
My purpose is I have petitioned Owl to become a member of his brood, and he drew me here to tell a story. I have told the story, but as is proper, I have come to pay my respects to the spirits of the sept as I am a laughing them. It is my job to act as the conduit between spirits and Guru.
Obligation. Noble. What do you give?
He will give 2 of his gnosis to the spirit. I give the essence of me.
Almost in a very cinematic way, you feel the sand and the dust kind of swirl around you, and you feel the sand go into your nostrils and into your mouth, and then you feel something pulled out of you. It looks almost like a translucent ball of energy wisps flying around it. And it's pulled out of you. You feel like it is accepted what you're given. And it kind of dissipates into a flash of ether wisps and energy.
He kind of would think it's almost, I would think for him being what he is, that's almost orgasmic.
Fair enough.
As close as possible for him as it could be. So he'll shudder and gasp, and then just kind of lay still for a few moments. And he'll smile and say, "Thank you, Elder, for your gift."
You're not sure if it felt like approval, joy, love, anger, or acceptance, but it was a combination of all of those feelings. And you feel a very confident and plausible yes.
Dusk smiles, continues to lay there. Does he feel like he's been dismissed, or?
Make me a perception enigma if you have it.
Okay, I do. It's one of the few things I have. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Looky there. That's pretty good.
For all intents and purposes, you feel like this encounter was meant to be, and you also understand that something. You have a moment of pure clarity. It's almost an ecstatic state as you feel a moment of deja vu and a moment of clarity, strong clarity, as it feels as if something. It's waiting for something. You're sure that it's an important gesture of some kind. And picture, if you will, a moment in a conversation where the ball is in your court and what you do next is very important.
Okay. He will remain where he is. And he'll say, I am known as Dusk Child, Laughing Moon, born on 2 legs of the Sept of the Green. My purpose in coming here was I petitioned Owl to become a member of his brood.
It takes a moment, and you see the sand beneath you form into what looks to be figures.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be shifting in a myriad of colors. They dance around in a very cohesive and rhythmic state. And as they dance around, you feel the sun shining on you. It's a very surreal experience. And as that surreal experience and that sensation falls on you, the figures in the sand become more tangible. You see one that looks kind of like a dog, and another that looks like a snake. And the snake is yipping and snapping at the toes of the dog. You see a pained expression, a look of agony as the snake kind of wraps around a wisp, and then there's a puff of smoke. You're not sure what you just saw, but it feels like a connection. It feels as if you just experienced something that was very unique to you.
Dusk will look from the figures to the. Has the spirit embodied itself at all? Like, is it there? Is there something to look at, or is it just a feeling that it's around me?
It is a feeling that the best way to describe it would be, all right, this is, well, I guess I'll have to tag this later. Has Dusk ever been intimate with anyone?
Uh, the closest Dusk has been to being intimate with anyone is Moonbeam, the child of Gaia,
Mm,
kinfolk, and I never even thought about it. Let's see. No, he is not.
okay, so it is the feeling of oneness and closeness with something. It feels very personal, as if something here was meant directly for you. It is a sensation of oneness.
I believe Dusk would lay there and just revel in it. He's never had anything that was just for him. And so I think he would lay there in the presence and just enjoy being in the presence.
Okay.
And he would play over what was seen.
Mhm. If does Dusk go out to touch the figures in the sand or no?
It's actually tangible. It's something that he could possibly go touch.
Give me a perception,
Okay.
spirit lore.
Okay. All right. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, I got some of that. Sorry.
Mm.
1.
You're not sure what you're looking at. It could be a state of a higher existence, a state of something quite mystical.
Mm-hmm.
But
What is
it
this? I'm sorry.
it's
Is this?
kind
Go ahead.
it's fine. It's kind of like you're in the middle stage. You're not sure if you're awake or if you're dreaming.
Okay. Is the scene replaying itself over and over again, or has it like stopped and it's like frozen in front of it?
It's a mixture of both.
Okay.
It is an auditory sensory. It's both auditory and extremely sensory. So, and it's tangible. So it's kind of trippy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He will. See, I can't see him moving because the spirit. He doesn't. Has he felt any kind of a? I guess you would say an acknowledgement of his. Uh, of his I guess you'd say his gestures of deference to the spirit.
You feel it. It's
Okay.
accepting it.
Okay. All right. Well, then he will. He will then feel like that he could probably move then, and he will move over to where the diorama is playing out, and he'll adopt a lotus position,
Okay.
and he will meditate on it because meditating is the thing
Mhm.
that he likes to do. Um, to see if maybe he can gain anything from it more than what he's seeing. Could he meditate on it?
What lores do you have?
Spirit lore, umbral lore. Let me see. Clicking things, but not the right. Okay. Spirit lore and umbral lore.
How high is your enigmas?
My enigmas is 3.
Give me a what's enigmas.
Okay.
Add your dots in meditation.
Okay. What's that? Can I spend a willpower?
Sure.
Okay. Oh boy. That's 5 with the willpower.
Okay. So it takes a minute as you're looking at it and you are piecing it together. This is probably the most surreal personal thing that Dusk has, I would dare say, ever encountered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost the precision I want to say that Dusk is taking right now is something that is akin to someone that is one track, one mind like tracked.
Mm-hmm.
As you piece together this information, this is definitely symbolism of some kind. This is definitely something that relates to you. that if you went and showed this to anyone else, you would understand based on your successes that whatever has been placed in front of you will change dramatically.
Okay, so it's one of those things where each person that looks at this sees a different thing based on who they are.
No.
No.
This is something that is very fixed
Okay.
and very present with you.
Okay.
So that if you move outside of this direction and you change your course, this thing that you're seeing right now will change and shift dramatically. What you do from this moment on, you feel it inside of you. It's almost as if this moment, you were born for that moment.
Okay. And describe to me one more time what I'm seeing again. It's a
You see a figure,
mm-hmm.
two figures.
Mm-hmm.
You see one that looks like a dog and another that looks like a snake. You see the you feel the sensation of warmth and heat.
Mm-hmm.
You see the dog and the snake are in a confrontation. The snake is snapping at the dog's feet.
Mm-hmm.
The snake curls around a wisp. The dog yelps and starts to cower.
A wisp, like a shadow.
Yeah, a shadow would be a good description. It's very incorporeal.
So the snake wraps around the wisp, and immediately the dog begins to cower. He hasn't been touched by the snake or anything,
Mm-mm.
but this okay.
But the dog is cowering at this point.
Okay. So what I'm getting from this, and a Dusk may be getting from this, is the fact that this is prophecy, and that this is the road that he is currently on. Is that correct? Is that what I'm understanding?
That is an interpretation you can draw.
Okay. All right.
Whether it's prophecy or history is up
Okay.
to us to decipher.
Yeah, good luck with that. Okay. All right. He will literally sit there and meditate on it as long as it takes to do that. Again, still reveling in the fact that this is just his. This is for him. You know.
Yep.
He's never had anything that was just his and just for him. So he will sit there with it. He will show it to his night spirit human.
They are transfixed.
Okay.
They don't move. They are looking at it and transfixed.
Okay. Dusk will, again, like I said, he will sit there and stare at it until, probably he will forget to eat. He will forget to sleep. He will sit there with the spirit as long as it will have him.
Okay, so after about an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
you'll feel a hand on your shoulder.
Okay. He will turn and look at whoever's there.
It is the right master.
Oh, okay. He will turn and again do the differential belly and throat.
He will not, seeing that this is something that is important, he doesn't, he will simply ask if you are
Mm-hmm.
done.
Dusk kind of RCA dogs a little bit, like he usually does when he's confused.
Give me a perception empathy.
Okay. Make sure that's right. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Is a feeling of concern as
Uh,
you feel like you've just gotten here, and that's been 2 hours.
right.
You don't get that feeling on his face, like something seems off.
Okay. Dusk will kind of look up and say, Raya, I have been here a short time. Although I'll admit, I feel like I could be here the rest of my days and be happy.
You have been here for 2 days.
He'll blink a couple of times. Kind of roll his tongue around in his mouth and realize how dry it is.
You've been here for, yeah.
Yeah. Raya,
I know this is important to you, but I must insist that you eat.
will I be allowed to return, Raya?
If you need to, yes.
He nods. Do not misunderstand the purpose of my words. I would do as you ask either way. I just simply was asking.
You get the feeling that him coming in here and the fact that you've been here for 2 hours, he's not looking out for you, but it's one of those things where, based on the perception empathy, if you pass out and die in the set, he's the responsible.
Right. I do have one question while I have you here before I go and eat. Would it be permissible for me to perform a rite upon the sept grounds, I should say?
That is something I must meditate on.
He nods. I understand. And with that, Dusk will take his time and switch back from the Umbra to the real world, which I believe the heart of the cairn is in like the center of the mosque.
Yep.
And he will make his way out of the mosque, being as respectful as possible to what's around him.
It's midnight.
Okay, then there's nobody there, so he will.
The moon is out.
Right, he will make his way out of the mosque and towards the. I believe it was the bar that is the guest quarters, not the secret Strider bar, but the other bar that has. Yeah, so he will make his way there and to get some food and probably get some rest, as he will realize that now he hasn't slept for 6 days.
Yep. You are right now. You are taking negatives to physical attributes because your body is literally starting to rebel.
Oh, sure.
Past 7 days, physically the body, but it doesn't really work with Guru because of like they're supernatural. But regular humans, after 7 days of not sleeping, they start to hallucinate.
I know. I've been there after 5. It's not a happy day.
Anything past 7 days, there's something called sudden death syndrome.
Yep. So he will make his way to the bar or the tavern and will enter and make his way to if there's a desk or a bar or what have you.
There's a map for you and everything.
Okay. All right. He will take a moment to eat to make sure that he eats, and then he will probably crash.
And at that point, I will hand it over to Shelby. Shelby.
Shelby, stop fapping.
Don't tell me what to do.
I know I've been giving you like theater, but like it's your turn, babe.
Told you, I've been to Ohio before.
Unless somebody's trying to talk to me online.
Might be me.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. You're right.
So, as Dusk crashes, he feels himself plunged into unconsciousness, almost as if one has gone face first into very warm water. He finds himself abnormally lucid in this state, as he feels the sensation of his mind floating downward in a pool of inky blackness, not terribly unlike the presence of those he considered his family. As he slowly starts to gain more and more lucidity, his eyes will open, gazing into a massive abyss. And on that abyss, he sees a few silhouettes, gray and insubstantial, each wandering, lost and aimless. Some appear human, some appear to be wolves, and even fewer of them, though appearing equally lost, are in the war form.
Oh, yeah.
Dusk is kind of going to look around. So I'm guessing this is kind of like a bleak landscape, and these people are just kind of, or these are just kind of wandering around him.
Mm-hmm. As he touches down, he will find the ground is made entirely of soot and ash, almost like sand in consistency, but softer, burnt, somehow less welcome.
Okay. He will look around, take in his surroundings. Umber Spirit Lord, I think to know where he is. Any chance for that?
You can make an Umbra lore roll.
Okay. Just straight Umber Lord?
Intelligence Umbra lore.
Okay. Oh boy, nope. That's a botch.
Oh, wow. You
that's a botch.
Have absolutely no idea where you are, but you get these sudden, almost a painful pang in your chest as the fear arises in you. If you don't know where you are, you might never get out.
Yeah.
And all of these Guru are wandering aimlessly and dead.
All right. He will. Oh, are they obviously dead?
They all have fatal injuries of some kind.
Ooh.
Some of them
Okay.
are missing skin around their throats. Others simply have piercings in their sides, chest. You get the feeling in the distance some may be even more gruesome, but you don't dare look that close.
Okay. I mean, does he have any inclination? I mean, he's going to look and look around. Does he have any inclination, any sign of anything as to where he should go, what he should do, anything like that? He's very, I mean, he's a child with spirits, and so he's looking for a purpose. He's looking for a purpose to be here. Obviously, something wants him here, so what is the purpose? That's what's in his head right now.
Perhaps the most frightening part is there doesn't seem to be one. Those that wander don't have a particular pattern, they don't even have a particular state about them. Everything seems bleak and almost lost. The only individual not wandering is one in the war form who is sitting crouched, their fur caked with soot and ash. Just the only one cognizant of your presence, with eyes that meet yours, with no sort of fear or hesitation.
Okay, cool. All right, with that, he will take his time and attempt to switch to the war form himself. And then once he does that, he will move through the wanderers to the seated one that has looked at him. He's going to try to take all of the pains he can not to get close to the ones that are wandering as best he can. And definitely not touch any of them. And then basically try to get as close as he can to the one seated, and then he will present himself as he always does by laying on his back and exposing throat and belly to this other guru. He will introduce himself. I am Dusk Child, Laughing Moon, born on two legs of the Sept of the Green.
The individual watches as you introduce yourself, but as you grow closer, you see that it appears to be crouched over something that looks to be made of obsidian. It clutches it in each of its massive Krynos paws. And it doesn't seem to be making any moves to introduce itself properly, but in a voice raspy and strained as one who has not had water for days in a hot desert, it simply says, "Stand up."
Dusk will do so. And as he stands up, he'll try to get a better look at what's arrayed before him.
The individual perhaps was a pitch black wolf. Although the mixture of soot and ash that has been so thoroughly rubbed into its fur makes it appear more slate gray. The only real indication of its natural fur color being around the paws and the mouth, where it may have been knocked away. It has very long jackal-like ears and a very, very thin and lithe body. With closer observation, the individual appears to be male.
And you said something was obsidian laying on the ground in front of him? Is it a sarcophagi of some type or something?
In its big Krynos paws, it appears to be clutching something obsidian. All you see are two very sharp points sticking out from between its thumbs.
Okay. Dusk will stand there because the only thing he's been told is to stand up. He'll kind of look at this other crouching guru, looking at its chest, not meeting its gaze, and will wait to see what's going on here.
You've come here seeking the patronage of Owl.
Yes, Raya, my purpose is to become a member of Owl's brood. That is true.
It looks at you, and there's a mixture of pity and hope on his face. You see where you are.
Dusk takes a moment and looks around. I have not been to this place. I do not know this place.
Nobody knows this place. For those of us who follow Owl, we do not have a home that we return to. This is our final fate. And he will stand and gesture broadly. As Dusk can see, they wander searching, many of them caked and covered in soot, as if they had been searching for centuries and centuries. Others, not able to see any of the other ones, glance around. Their mouths move as if they are screaming for help, for acknowledgement, for somebody to tell them where they are. But that's all you can get through lip reading, as they make no noise beyond raspy, ragged breaths. Many of them scream until they fall over. Others give up and begin walking.
Dusk frowns and he doesn't like the fact that he's standing over this guy, and so he'll probably squat down. And then eventually slide into a lotus position because that's the most natural position for him, even in Krynos. I had always been told that when Guru pass, they go to their homeland. Is this then the homeland of the brood of Owl? He kind of looks around.
It's the absence of a home. This is the great thing that has been denied to us.
So he kind of cocks his head. The homeland of the brood of Owl has been taken away by whom? By the worm?
You can say that. By something sinister that serves its three heads. The very thing Set took from us our home in Tellurian. Also took from us our home here. Any of us. This is our fate. For our descendants to never hear our calls, never share in our wisdom. You want this for yourself.
Dusk looks around. He looks at the shambling, lost. He looks back at the creature. I can only assume that those that came before me, my ancestors, wander here somewhere.
You think you'll ever hear them?
I have never heard them before. I do not know that I will hear them. I can only have hope that one day I will hear them.
The Kronos Guru's face softens just a bit. I have not brought you here just to show you despair. I need something of you, young one.
Oh, you're talking his language now. So he stiffens up and kind of squares his shoulders. What purpose do you have for me?
Perhaps to some of us, even to me, the eternal wandering. It's not simply what you see. It's the shred of our hope to someday find our home. But that chance has been robbed from me. I am unable to seek it.
Dusk kind of cocks his head again, his typical RCA dog thing when he's confused or waiting for more information.
A child of Set has taken from me the only shred of hope I was given. And you figure will open its paws and reveal a black silhouette, obsidian and shaped as a traditional Anubis statue. The jackal, that is, not the human with the head.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll simply set it down in the dust. The child of Set has entrapped my spirit in a vessel as this. I need you to free me from the snake's grasp.
Dusk looks at the figure. What is a child of Set?
Our most bitter enemies. The bloodsuckers who have robbed us of our home.
trying to think. I don't think Dusk has ever heard of anything even remotely vampire related. He cocks his head again. Bloodsuckers, like a bane leech?
Like a corpse. Corpse the worm is twisted in its image to feed on the blood of the living, to spread its taint in subtle and insidious ways. Those are our enemies. Those are who cursed us to wander. And yet they taunt us still.
This definitely makes Dusk frown. This child of Set, this one who consumes blood, has trapped your spirit in a figure such as this one. And he points to the Anubis statue.
Yes.
What is this child of Set called?
The soot-covered figure thinks for a moment, its eyes narrowing. I have no name for it. And you are out of time here. Go. Return to me my last shred of hope. And Dusk will see as the shadowy, ethereal figures of the guru begin to disappear. He is plunged once again into sleep. And I will hand the scene back off to our storyteller.
You wake up, Dusk, as somebody is shaking you awake.
Dusk, I would think, knowing him, probably doesn't come awake well.
That's fine.
It's probably a lot of flailing and, oh, hey, especially if it's daytime because he doesn't like sun.
Yeah, it's daytime.
And holy crap, it's desert.
Yeah.
Even though he's inside, I'm sure that's still probably fairly bright. He's probably covering his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yes, 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 no.
You were thrashing in your sleep?
Ping, I didn't steal your credit card, I promise. I promise.
You just see the kinfolk back away.
He kind of rubs his eyes for a moment.
You see a very scared looking kinfolk.
He looks at the kinfolk. I'm so sorry. My purpose was not to frighten you.
You were thrashing in your sleep? I was concerned.
I thank you.
Sorry.
I thank you for your concern. I apologize for frightening you. How long have I been asleep?
Good night.
Does he feel rested enough? He could obviously probably sleep another night. And,
You could probably sleep another night comfortably, but at this point, you're not suffering penalties.
Okay. So he feels like he slept enough.
You slept enough.
Okay. All right. He will ask, where can I find food and water, brother? And a place to wash.
Comes back with a water basin. Pours you, it's like warm. You can see the steam like wafting off of it. Pours it in a bowl, kind of hands it to you. And comes back with a large plate of kind of the same stuff you ate the night before.
Okay. He will take time to eat and clean himself.
Mhm.
He'll look into his bag, make sure all of his stuff is still there.
All your stuff is still there.
He'll replenish his food because you never know how long things are going to take, and his water. And actually, he'll take a little bit of extra water. And then he will thank the kinfolk and make his way to the warder again to let him know that he has been told his next step and is leaving the sept.
The warder kind of gives you a solemn look and says, "Okay, be safe."
Thank you for your hospitality. I hope to see you again, Raya.
As do I. It gives you. It doesn't feel like. Have you ever seen somebody that isn't accustomed to smiling? This one seemed heartfelt. Maybe this is the first time this guy has smiled in like years.
He will, after being dismissed from that, he's going to go try to find the right master and see if he has decided if he can perform a rite on the sept yet.
The right master is busy at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, then he will not perform one without permission. So he will leave word with someone to thank the right master for his time and for allowing him to speak with the Karen spirit. And then he will make his way off sept. He's going to try to make his way off sept, and then he will try to find a small place where he can kind of get out of the way of all of the people in Casablanca.
There's a lot of back alleys. This is a really
Right.
dirty, dingy place. So
Right. So he's going to try to find a little back alley place where he can have a few moments to himself. And then he is going to, after making sure that he's fairly safe where he is, he's going to sit down and going to find a pebble.
okay.
Well, try to find a rock about the size of a golf ball. He'll take a piece of leather out of his pack and we'll wrap it around it so that it kind of hangs like a pendulum.
Oh, you're doing that. Gotcha.
And then he will sit down and do Rite of the Questing Stone to find this asshole.
Question.
Yes.
It is already 1 a.m. Do you feel like doing combat tonight?
I don't care either way. Are we going to have a third session either way, or what are we doing?
I could push it into a third session. So this way, I'll let you do the right. And this way, I'll give you a chance to prepare because this is something you want to prepare for.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let me look here. It's what? Which rituals?
Yeah, which rituals?
Yeah. Can I spend a willpower? And can I add my wisdom Newman, excuse me.
Can you add your Newman? What is your Newman accustomed to? What's it linked to?
Wisdom.
You know what?
That's why I asked.
Yes, you may.
Okay. At the same time, he is also going to send his night spirit network out looking for this guy.
Okay.
So with Newman, blah, 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 blah. Oh, look at that. Woo! That's pretty good.
Something interesting happens, and this is the last tidbit before we call an end to the scene.
Sure.
It levitates off the ground, and it points in a direction, and it begins to shake violently. and then it crumbles to dust.
Okay.
You know which direction it's going in. You were able to get that much, but something happened.
Okay.
You know intrinsically based on the way you prepared it,
Mhm.
it was perfect.
Did I get a sense of distance?
Yes.
Okay. Are we talking in the city? Or are we talking in the on the continent? Or
Lol. I won't do that to you. It is definitely within the city, but
okay.
it is nowhere near here.
Gotcha.
It's far out.
Okay. All right. Then in preparation for you and for me, he will send his night spirits network
Mhm.
in that direction, looking for it.
Okay.
And then he will go back to, because I'm going to cheat. He's going to go back to the sept
Mhm.
and wait for the right master.
Well, okay.
Because
All right.
because we got spirits I need to talk to that are made of sun and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All right. So you want to do it that way?
That's a way. I mean,
That is a way.
you should know me by now. I'm not going to go in there with one trick in my sleeve. I'm going to try to have as many as I can.
That's why I like scening with you.
So, right, so we can start the next scene with the right master, or we can do it now. It's entirely up to you.
Start the next scene with the right master.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
And yeah. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. If we had any at this ungodly hour. This has been a scene for Living World of Darkness. Sayonara.